All right, let's talk about the last pronoun case, the ergative pronoun case. Right, this one might have a lot of confusion, and this might be the one of the most difficult ones to grasp in terms of the pronoun cases that we have out of all the three: the absolutive, the ergative, and the oblique. There's really not much I can say to help you, I guess, in using this, but this is more just like reviewing and explaining. If it's a hard or difficult concept to grasp, I apologize. I did not make the rules for this language. I just speak it. But I did the best to my ability to kind of come up with ways for you to understand the ergative case in terms of pronouns, all right? So again, when we're talking about these cases, think about the pronoun cases and not just not just like the personal pronouns, but the demonstrative pronouns and all that stuff, right? So think about those as well. If they have a case, if a case exists for a pronoun, then use the proper case for it, okay? So ergative case. Now, why do we have this? Why does the ergative case exist? Well, because, some languages change the focal points, focal shifts, right? So some languages will have emphasis on one noun or idea or whatever, right? Versus the other things or other concepts, nouns, whatever in the sentence. How do they do that? They mark it, okay? That's how they indicate the difference, okay, of what's important versus not important, aka what's the focus or the non-focus. So ergative case, we use it in contrast with the absolutive, right? Because it's a focal shift to non-focuses, right? It's a focal shift to non-focuses, right? When we use the ergative case, that means we're giving way for the focus, right? Because when we're using the ergative case, we're talking about ourselves or that whatever pronoun. We're going to put it aside as a non-focus. We're not really the most important thing in the sentence, but we're still important. Hey, we exist. We're just out there. We're just not the most important thing being talked about at the moment. That's pretty much the ergative case, what we use for pronouns, okay? And it works again hand in hand with the ang family of markers, right? So the absolutive case pronoun, or the absolutive case and the ergative case work hand in hand. You kind of have to have one or the other in the sentence, but you can't have more than one or two in the sentence, or not sentence, but the clause. And there, I just put a reminder on the bottom for that. So the way of how and when do we use it is here, right? So again, how do we use it? Well, ergative case pronouns and or demonstrative pronouns, obviously, right? That's just how you use it in terms of the pronouns. The case for it exists, so we use it. Now, if a case didn't exist for it, then we have to use the og or sa family of markers, right? I think it's just more og family of markers, but also sometimes the sa family of markers work. So the og or sa, but if the pronoun case for it exists, then you must use the ergative case for it. And when do we use it? Well, we use it when verbs are not, that's your key word, when verbs are not conjugated with the actor focus affixes, right? And that only leaves us with the other focuses. So think about your circumstantial and object focus affixes, right? Those focal affixes that get attached to verbs and get conjugated will trigger when you should use the absolutive or actor focus or the ergative case pronouns, right? Or absolutive case pronouns, yeah. So absolutive or ergative case pronouns, right? So again, if you haven't memorized your basic verbal affixes already, and that's just gonna be another video in the intermediate series, because again, this is the last time I'll talk about cases. If you haven't mastered those, please do, because they are very crucial. Those are just your basic affixes in Cebuano that will help you, and then they will help you learn more affixes as you have those mastered down. So again, when your verbs aren't conjugated with the actor focuses, then you have to use the ergative case pronouns, right? And that's primarily with the object and circumstantial, right? So those two focal modes use the ergative case pronouns. And this is the friendly reminder down here that you cannot have two or more absolutive or ergative case pronouns in a clause. All right, so when you do that, you're wrong, okay? So think of that as a grammatical error when you're talking or when you're writing, okay? Or even speaking. So that's just one way to keep yourself in check is you cannot have two absolutive case or more more than two or more ergative case pronouns in a clause. All right. So again, if you have any more questions, you know what to do. I'm wrapping this up, and hopefully this could kind of clear your mind a little bit.